stability. North Korea says it will deploy 250 new tactical ballistic missile launchers to frontline army units near its border with South Korea. The ruling party newspaper Rodong Sinmun reported that leader Kim Jong-un oversaw a ceremony in Pyongyang on Sunday to deliver the system to the military. The mobile launchers were reportedly mass-produced for ballistic missiles and will target South Korean troops and U.S. bases in the south. The newspaper carries photos of launchers lined up. Kim's daughter is also shown listening to her father's speech. Kim was quoted as saying that North Korea must be prepared for confrontation. He added that his country now possesses overwhelming power to deter its enemies. North Korea had earlier said that it would test fire a new short-range ballistic missile, the Hwasong-11, in July. It was supposed to verify the impact of what the country calls its super-large warhead. However, there is no confirmation that this test has taken place. U.S. and South Korean forces remain on alert. Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Hayashi Yoshimasa criticized the move.
North Korea's nuclear and missile development poses a threat to the peace and security of Japan and the international community. I think it is absolutely unacceptable.
Hayashi also said the government will continue monitoring the situation. It's been 80 years since Japanese troops attempted an unsuccessful prison break from a camp in Australia during World War II. People from both countries attended a ceremony to mark Monday's anniversary. On August 5th, 1944, more than 1,100 Japanese POWs broke out of their prison camp in Kara in the southeastern Australian state of New South Wales. The incident left 231 Japanese soldiers dead, including those who were shot by guards. The rest of the soldiers were recaptured. It's said the Japanese soldiers planned the escape because they considered it shameful to be prisoners of war. About 300 people joined the ceremony at a cemetery where Japanese soldiers and others are buried. Some offered flowers in commemoration. August 6th is the 79th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. When the atomic blast tore through the city, few objects near the epicenter survived. Those that did have become reminders of the horror of nuclear weapons and symbols for peace. NHK World's Yoshikawa Ryuichi has the story of an international production inspired by one of those artifacts.
Chopin's Nocturne No. 2 echoes through the air, just across the river from Hiroshima's atomic bomb dome. Like that building, this piano is a relic of the bombing. Made in America, it once belonged to Kawamoto Akiko, who was born in Los Angeles in 1926. In 1933, she and her family moved to Hiroshima, where she played the piano with her mother and took lessons. But her music career was cut short on August 6, 1945. Akiko was just 800 meters away from the epicenter when the bomb went off. She died the next day. She was 19. Her piano was damaged when her home was hit by the shock of the blast, scratched by shards of glass. But it was repaired and maintained by a local group. Today, it's used for education and special performances, and its notes have resonated far beyond Hiroshima. In 2022, it helped inspire two German playwrights, Heike Taub and Florian Goldberg.
While researching instruments with a certain heritage, we came across Akiko's piano and were immediately touched by the story.
They created Borrowed Landscape, a stage production comprised of music and narration. In it, Modern-day musicians reflect on instruments whose original owners were caught up in World War II. It's about reflecting on how the past affects us today.
After the catastrophe that Germany brought upon the world during the Nazi regime and World War II, we as German artists and intellectuals have grown up with the notion that in order for history not to repeat itself, we must look at it very closely and learn from it.
The production debuted on German Public Radio and was made into a stage play in New York in 2023. Now, there are plans to bring it to Hiroshima for a performance during next year's 80th anniversary. Hagiwara Mami, whose grandparents were A-bomb survivors, is set to perform with Akiko's real piano.
For me, I think it's my life's mission to play Akiko's piano. And I personally think I can convey many things with just the sound of that instrument.
But organizers say they're still well short of the money needed for the event and are seeking donations. Still, they have high hopes for a Japanese debut.
We hope Akiko's piano can serve as a medium to bring the tragedies happening in our world closer to people in the audience, even if for a moment.
Tragically, one of Borrowed Landscape's writers will not see whether their production makes it to Hiroshima. A short time after we spoke, Tao died following a battle with cancer. She told us why Akiko's story matters today.
Akiko's piano is not a thing of the past. In this very moment, many Akikos are probably dying in Ukraine, in Gaza, in Israel, without the world noticing.
Right, and children, young people who are dying because we adults are unable to create a peaceful world. It's on us to do that.
Passing on hope to the next generation that maybe with enough reflection, humanity can change its tune. Yoshikawa Ryuichi, NHK World, Hiroshima.
It's time for a look at world weather with our meteorologist, Jonathan O.
Hello, as we went through the weekend, Debbie developed relatively quickly, but now it is a very slow-moving storm. The problem with this type of setup is that it has a lot of moisture with it and is dumping it over areas for an extended period of time. For those of you from Florida into the Carolinas, you need to be paying attention to the situation. I want to show you some video to set you the stage on how the initial impacts of the storm has brought to the area. Debbie has already brought heavy rain and powerful winds to parts of Florida, causing flooding and power outages. Parts of the state has received more than 200 millimeters of rain and gusts up to 110 kilometers per hour as of Sunday night, with several tornadoes also having been reported. Officials have warned of potentially catastrophic flooding in parts of Georgia and South Carolina, where more than 700 millimeters of rain is expected by Friday. So, for those of you who are watching, especially around the panhandle of Florida, you're under a hurricane warning with this system. This storm will weaken into a tropical storm, but as you go forward in time, this system will bring, again, significant amounts of rain that can lead to flooding. Storm surge is also part of the story here. And because of the way that it is moving, we're talking about significant amounts of rainfall. And so we're talking about even back toward, let's say, around 2015, when the central areas of South Carolina saw some record flooding. That type of pattern is now expected along the coastal areas in terms of the amount of rainfall. So make sure that you're preparing now, because the storm will be affecting you over the next several days. And we're looking again at some areas seeing close to 600 to 700 millimeters of rainfall along the coastal areas from Georgia into South Carolina as we go forward in time. We're also talking about thunderstorms up toward the north, some of them may be severe into the upper Midwest, so be on the lookout for that as we go through Monday. Quick note on East Asia, we have a front that's moving through the northeastern portions of China. Also seeing some storms popping up near the Kanto Koshin region, so be on the lookout for some unstable activity as we go throughout the day on Tuesday. Hope you have a safe day wherever you are.